Good day, everyone. Today, I will be discussing one of the most important topics in the field of forensic science and criminal investigation, the branches of ballistics. But first, let us define ballistics. Ballistics is the scientific study of projectiles, especially bullets and their behavior before, during, and after being fired. In forensics, understanding ballistics helps us analyze shootings and determine what exactly happened at the crime scene. Ballistics is divided into four main branches: internal, external, terminal, and forensic ballistics. The first branch is internal ballistics. This focuses on everything that happens inside the firearm, starting the moment the trigger is pulled until the bullet exits the barrel. It includes the ignition of gunpowder, the expansion of gases, and the movement of the bullet through the barrel. Factors like the barrel length, amount of gunpowder, and the chamber pressure directly affect the bullet's velocity. This branch is crucial for understanding how the mechanics of a firearm affect shooting performance. Second branch is the external ballistics. This studies the behavior of the bullet after it leaves the muzzle of the firearm and travels through the air toward the target. It covers the trajectory or flight path of the bullet and considers factors like wind, resistance, air pressure, gravity, and even the weather conditions. This is especially important in long-distance shooting or sniping cases where external factors, forces significantly affect accuracy. The third branch is the terminal ballistics, also called impact ballistics. This refers to what happens when the bullet hits the target, whether it's a person, object, or a surface. It includes the studying of penetration, deformation, fragmentation, and the amount of energy transferred from the bullet to the target. In forensic investigations, terminal ballistics helps us identify exit and the entrance wounds, determine how much damage was caused, and sometimes even reconstruct the position of the victim or the shooter. And lastly, we have forensic ballistics. This is the application of all ballistics knowledge to solve crimes. It involves examining bullets, cartridges, firearms, and gunshot residues to find links between a weapon and the shooting incident. Forensic ballistic experts can match a bullet to the gun it was fired from, determine the type of firearm used, reconstruct shooting scenes, and sometimes even establish the sequence of the shots. This branch plays a vital role in providing evidence in court and supporting the criminal justice system.
So dumako naman po tayo sa types of firearm. So first, meron po tayo single shot firearm. So sabi dito, a single shot firearm is a type of gun that can only fire one bullet at a time before it needs to be reloaded manually. So ibig sabihin, isang putok lang kada isang karga. So itong baril na to is isang beses lang pwedeng pumutok, tapos kailangan ulit lagyan ng bala bago ulit ito gamitin. So that is single shot firearm. Next po is repeating firearm. So it is a gun that can fire multiple shots without reloading every time. It stores extra bullet in a magazine, cylinder, or tube and loads the next round automatically or manually after each shot. So kanina sa single shot is isang putok lang kada isang karga. So dito naman is sunod-sunod yung putok dahil meron na siyang bala sa loob ng baril. So, itong baril na to is kayang makapatok ng maraming beses dahil may lalagyan nga ng bala sa loob. So, hindi mo na kailangan kargahan agad matapos ang bawat putok. And lastly is automatic firearm. So, it is a gun that can keep firing bullet continuously as long as you hold the trigger until the magazine runs out. So, ang sinasabi dito is tuloy-tuloy yung pagputok mo. So, ito yung baril na pwede mo siyang gamitin ng tuloy-tuloy hanggat nakahawak ka sa trigger, hanggat hindi nauubos yung bala dun sa magazine.
Now we will identify the different tests for gunshot residue. First one, we have the paraffin test or dermal nitrate test. It is the oldest test in existence and was designed to check for residue on hands. The hands were coated with the paraffin or wax, and then the paraffin was tested with diphenylamine. Now when we say diphenylamine, it reacts with the nitrates to produce a blue color which help identify the gunshot residue. Kapag sinabi naman natin na paraffin test or dermal nitrate test, it is used to detect the presence of nitrates or tinatawag nating nitrates, which are produced by gunpowder combustion on the skin of a suspect, usually sa kanyang hands or sa kanyang forearm, believed to have fired a firearm. Next, we have naman sa pangalawa is grease test. Peter Grease in 1858 designed the test to assist the measurement of distance and angles. Dito naman sa grease test is to determine whether the gun was fired by detecting nitrates left behind from the burning of gunpowder on a shooter, clothing, or skin. When the larger nitrate patterns, nagko-contains naman to sa may close range, and the faint or scattered pattern naman is long distance. Third one, we have the Harrison-Gilroy test. It is the test that does not check for nitrate at all, but for antimony, barium, and lead using the same paper color change indicator. Dito naman is sa Harrison-Gilroy test is to detect the presence of Ba, which is barium, Sb is antimony, Pb is lead, which are the key elements in primary residue from fired gun cartridge. Dito ay sinasabi lang, orange color indicates antimony. If the color changes to red by adding sodium rosynate, lead or barium is present. By adding naman HCl, and if red turns to blue, lead is present. But if red color is retained, barium is present. Next naman, number 4, we have the Marshall and Tiwari tests are used to determine the firearms distance. Both tests are for nitrates. Dito naman sa number 4 is ginagamit lang is to detect the firearm discharge residue, particularly sa may PB, which is lead, on the hands of the suspect. It is the one of earliest method developed to identify gunshot residue, especially metallic particles. Dito naman sa last one, which is the Walker test, dito is nakalagay lang is a chemical test for the presence of nitrate in unburned or particularly burned propellants. Dito sa may Walker test is dito lang is in-estimate nila how far the gun was from the target. When it was fired, especially in homicide or suicide investigation, by analyzing the burned and unburned gunpowder. And that is the different test for gunshot residue.
So proceed tayo sa wood ballistics. Wood ballistics delves into the fascinating and complex world of how projectiles interact with the human body. This field offers critical insight for forensic investigation, medical treatment, and understanding the potential harms of firearm injuries. So meron tayong different types of wood ballistic. So first is the entrance wood. These typically appear as clean round holes slightly smaller than bullet diameter. So sa entrance wood, dito bahagi kung saan pumapasok ang bala sa katawan. Karaniwan dito mas maliit, lubog at pwedeng may bakas ng paso o gasgas lalo na kung malapit ang putok. So next is the exit wood. Exit woods, the appearance of an exit wood depends on several factors. If the bullet exists directly opposite the entry and exit heads-on, the exit wound may be smaller than an entry. So sa exit wound naman is bahagi naman kung saan lumabas ang bala sa katawan. Mas malaki at hindi regular ang hugis nito kumpara sa entrance wound. Dahil maaaring nagbago ang hugis o umiikot ang bala habang dumadaan sa loob ng katawan. So next is the bullet fragmentation. Bullet fragmentation is the bullet fragments as it passes through the body. The exit wound can be smaller or larger than the entry. So sa bullet fragmentation, nangyayari dito kapag ang bala ay nagbabasag o nadudurog sa pagtama sa katawan. So ang mga piraso ng bala ay maaaring kumalat sa loob, nagdudulot ng mas malawak at pinsala at paghihirap sa katawan or sa paggamot sa katawan. So next is the angle exit wound. If the bullet exits the body at an angle or carries fragment of bone, the exit wound can be significantly larger than the entry. So sa exit wound naman is naapektuhan ng angle ng paglabas ng bala. Maaring maging oblong o hindi pantay ang hugis at nakakatulong ito sa mga forensic experts sa pagtukoy ng direksyon ng bala. Last is the tissue damage. The path of the bullet creates a shockwave within the body, causing damage to surrounding tissue. This phenomenon known as tissue quake plays a significant role in the overall wound severity. So dito naman is tumutukoy sa pagkasira ng mga laman loob o tissue ng katawan dahil sa pagdaan ng bala. Maaring kasama rito ang pagkapunit, pagkadurog at epekto ng shockwave, which is the cavitation. And depends sa bilis, laki at pagkabasag ng bala. And yun lang.